Hey guys, it's the Dark Master here, and as you probably are aware, I recently reached 900 subscribers, and a lot of you guys, in my special announcement, left several questions. As such, let's get right into it, and without further ado, answer those questions in ways that I hope will be both engaging and entertaining to you and the others. Our question comes from Oliver Rudisarnes 6447, who asks three questions. 1. Could you do an Arcane review? 2. Who is your fave Ninjago character? 3. What do you think of Ninjago Dragons Rising so far? Firstly, thank you for those questions. As for number one, I've never really watched Arcane. I really don't know anything about the setting or really anything about it. I probably wouldn't do a review of that just because I'm not familiar with the source material. And since Arcane is based off something else, I'd have to do stuff involving that before I would review the show itself. So, very unlikely. I'm really sorry about that, though. But number two, who is your fave Ninjago character? Ooh, oh, that's a hard one. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I think the Overlord is my favorite Ninjago character, though he's tied with Zane, and I also like General Wakia, though she's kind of fallen off in terms of my rating. I think she'd be a solid third place after the Overlord slash Zane, and I like Dareth. He's funny. As for your third question as to what do I think of Ninjago Dragons Rising, well, I think it's pretty good. It started off pretty weak, personally. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Imperium. Like, I understand what it's meant to be. It's like, it's Warhammer stand-in, basically, but I don't know. I just think it didn't quite work. But after that, I think it got a lot stronger, and I've personally been really liking the series so far. Sure, the Tournament of the Sources is a bit of a rip-off of Tournament of Elements, and honestly, I think the presenter is way less cool than Master Chen, but that's just because Master Chen had a really cool performance, and this new guy is, I don't know, because it's based off like TikTokers, it doesn't quite have the same, I think, staying power or quality as Chen, but I don't know, I like it. Sure, there's been a lot of changes to the lore, and that I'll no doubt have to address eventually when I get to returning to my Ninjago lore series. But as for a show, I think it's good. I still think the theme song is not as good as the original one, though, by the Fold. Our good old buddy BMW895 left a beefy comment with several questions. And he says, "Hey man, nice to see you reach this milestone. Here are a few questions related to the topics you talk about. First, looking back at your Invertebrate Iceberg, is there anything you wish you included that you didn't or was discovered after you finished it? Second, I noticed a few of your Kirby right back at your retrospective episodes have disappeared. What happened with them and will they come back? Third, any comment on the pedantic losers who say you have alts or pro-doxing? Fourth, any statement on the current state of the Paleosphere?" Hey, thanks BMW. So, with your first question as to looking back at my Invertebrate Iceberg, the thing about icebergs is that there's always more stuff to include, but especially with invertebrates, that's true, because there's just so many that it would have been impossible to include everything, and plus new ones are constantly being discovered, so obviously you can't include everything. But let's start with the first group. The animals that I didn't include but wish I had. Well, looking back, I wish I had included a few more horseshoe crab relatives because some of them got very bizarre. Others that I wish I had included and either couldn't due to I forgot about them or just didn't have time. There are the Paleontinidids, which are a group of true bugs, actual bugs, the things you actually can call bugs, not like crustaceans, uh, often called giant cicadas due to being most closely related to cicadas, though it should be said that they are not true cicadas, they are their own distinct family, but they are most closely related to cicadas, so people call them anyway. They could reach up to 5.9 inches in length, which is huge, and would have filled niches that a lot of moths do today. They first emerged in the late Triassic and survived until the early Cretaceous. Another group that I could have included are the Coxloplectonoptera, which are this group of insects that are related to mayflies and are these sort of raptorial predators. I plan to make a video on both that group and the giant cicadas at some point because they're both really cool and don't get enough attention. But as for stuff that's been discovered since I made the iceberg, well, it turns out that Arthroplura had some very weird eyes, which make it a lot more distinct from myriapods than we assumed prior. Another new discovery is Tardisia, which at first glance doesn't look all that impressive, but it is notable for being the youngest known non-trilobite arthropoda. The Arthropoda is the broader group of arthropods that trilobites belong to. There were several other groups that lived during the Cambrian, but for a long time it's thought that they had went extinct as their more derived relatives flourished. However, Tardisia survived until the Moscovian stage of the Pennsylvanian, which, is much more recent than we had thought that they had survived prior. So it's a pretty big discovery, but was discovered after I finished the iceberg, so I couldn't really include it. Definitely another group I might make a video on at some point. As for the Kirby Right Back At You stuff, several videos of mine have been falsely struck by copyright, thanks to trolls led by Pimpmonk X and the Pedantic Pedestrian podcast, which is stupid because, say what you want about my videos, but by any definition, what I do definitely falls under fair use. I mean, I go into extreme detail about the plots, the characters, all sorts of things, and I encourage people to buy anytime Nintendo makes an official release of these guys, which hasn't happened. In fact, the English dub has never been re-released, even though they probably could easily do so and make a hefty bit of money to it. The truth is, though, I don't think it's Nintendo doing it, because whenever I get copyright striked, it's always like Nintendo in all caps, but when you get copyright striked by someone that's actually from Nintendo, they always sign it as like Nintendo of America or Nintendo of Japan. It's probably just a bunch of trolls, which is a shame because, I don't think deplatforming people disproves what they have to say, and it's kind of cowardly to celebrate doing that. But then again, these same people also celebrated the deplatforming of many other people, so, they're not exactly free speech warriors or believe in free speech and, discussion. That sort of ties into your third question, though I have to provide a little bit of context. If you don't know, there is this set of what I can only describe as drunken peasants clone YouTubers called the Pedantic Pedestrian Podcast. I criticized them once, mainly because they kept going after me for really no valid reason. And ever since, they've sort of had a grudge against me for years, even though they started it by attacking me first. Yes, you did fucking start it. I know that retard, Shabisky, likes to claim that I started it by quote-unquote attacking Pimp Monk. But number one, John Morgan wasn't part of that live stream. He chose after the fact to attack me. So yes, you did fucking start it. So shut the fuck up, you fucking historical revisionist lying asshole. But basically, they've sort of devolved further, as no longer are they merely drunken peasants clones. They've basically gone pro-Hamas, pro-rape, pro-terroristic propaganda. And so they made this live stream where they basically, served as a mouthpiece for, Hamas. They downplayed the rape, all sorts of that thing. And they got a number of negative comments. And for some reason, they thought that anyone who's ever left a negative comment on their videos must be me. Like, dude, I don't know how to tell you this, but there's a number of Jewish people who probably would leave negative comments on your videos because you regularly do, like, pro-Hamas talking points. Like, is it just me, or is it extremely absurd to act like any negative video comments that you get would have to be from me, right? Like, it must be me, right? It's just so childish. And listen, I don't tell people to leave negative comments on you. If BMW does that, or anyone else who's subscribed to me, that's because they made a choice of their own volition to do it, because they feel you did something stupid and they called you out about it. Like, what the fuck? Like, and it's funny. Their only evidence that this person who left a negative comment is an alt of mine is that he edited the YouTube comment. I love how this guy is such contradictory nonsense because John wants you to believe that I'm a complete incompetent retard, but also the only fucking person on the planet who can edit a YouTube comment. Like, you understand? Like, isn't this a little contradictory, right? How can I be a complete idiot, but the only person on YouTube who can edit a YouTube comment? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Also, Dirk Cobain in that comments thread also edited his comment. He must be an alt of mine as well. It's stupid. I've never made any alts to go after you. I've never told people to go after you. You're a delusional man-child. Maybe stop promoting Hamas. Especially if you don't want to get negative comments. I love how they dedicated like 20 fucking minutes to a single goddamn comment. Like, how desperate for videos and views are you? Like, say what you want about me. I do not make videos for views. That's one thing you can never criticize me for, given the niche content I cover. But as for the second part of your question, as for regards to the whole pro-doxing thing, that's a little more complicated. So this requires a lot more context than the previous question, since it involves multiple people. So, if you don't know, due to the Israel-Palestine conflict, there is a YouTuber named Ethan Klein. He had a podcast with Hassan Piker, that fucking jackass. And basically, Ethan Klein is someone who, while believes that Israel has a right to exist, doesn't believe that Israel is morally in the right, and that what they're doing to Palestine is fucked up and should stop, and that Netanyahu should be thrown in jail. This wasn't enough, though, because due to the fact that he was merely opposed to the rapes and violence that happened on October 7th, Hassan and his deranged fan base started fucking attacking him, and Ethan, simply asked his co-hosts to be like, hey man, can you ban some of these weird anti-Semitic losers? Hassan, apparently, due to sheer stupidity, just didn't understand. Like, he couldn't comprehend why, he should ban people from his chat, even though he has criticized other streamers for not banning people from their chat, like Asmongold or whatever. Anyway, then, due to this, the podcast broke apart, and Hassan's fan base have been repeatedly attacking, shitting on, just being viciously cruel to Ethan for really no reason at all. And he's gotten a lot of weird, like, anti-Semitic attacks. Like, on Twitch, there was this panel with Denims and Hijabba the Hutt, aka Frogan, who were making a tier list where they basically put all the Jewish people on the bottom and all the Arab or Arab-coded people at the top. It was pretty openly anti-Semitic. They used a brand of hummus as a dog whistle for Jewish people. And a lot of people, I've tried to defend this. They somehow forget that dog whistles exist when it's convenient for them. It just kind of shows, like, bullshit, how hypocritical they are. And they try to claim that, it was just a bad brand of hummus. But it's like, okay, what group of people like that type of hummus? Like, you are very clearly trying to imply that Jewish people are trash or whatever. Like, it's a dog whistle. Like, objectively, it was an anti-Semitic dog whistle, right? Now, of course, Ethan eventually had enough of this shit, rightfully so, and made a video exposing Hassan for being a completely deranged idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, for fuck's sake, Hassan literally was on a podcast with Second Thought about how they were intentionally targeting young people to radicalize them. This is everything that these idiots would criticize the alt-right for doing, but way more effective. Like, what the fuck? This is fucking stupid. Anyone who denies this is just stupid. Of course, this led to a bushfire of derangement spread its way from people like, Frogan, who, despite being called Arab, looks more like Jabba the Hutt, or the Pot of Greed from fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! There was Noah Sampson's hit piece where he basically accused the guy of being pro-genocide, which was a slanderous claim because he does not support genocide and has regularly criticized Israel. Now, Ethan then proceeded to file a lawsuit that, in my opinion, is perfectly justified against Noah Samson for his numerous intentional and bad faith lies that he had spread about Ethan, such as claiming he supported genocide when he doesn't. We're not going to get into that because that's not really relevant to this video, but in this letter, he mentioned an individual whose name is Yanis Stenopoulos, better known by his online pseudonym Bad Empanada or George Angelos Genitis. Now, this in turn sparked a certain little yes man, a certain little fanboy of Hassan named Joel.exe, who made several videos claiming that Ethan doxed Bad Empanada, basically repeating what Bad Empanada said. This is not fucking true. His name is publicly fucking available. If you look for Bad Empanada's name, you will find it on Sportskeeda website, as well as on the YouTube Wikipedia, also known as Wikitubia, and the Prolwikia, or whatever the heck that is. His name is not private. It is public. His name was already out there. Ethan did not dox this fucking loser. When I pointed out this objective fact, this balding crackhead, Joel, tried to smear me as being pro-doxing. We're going to talk about that, but he made 2 videos about it. Both of these videos are like completely meaningless of substance. He barely talks in them. Like, one of these is 22 minutes, the other is 7 minutes. He barely says fucking anything. He's silent for the vast majority of the live stream. First off, who the fuck watches a live stream where the person is mostly silent? That is such a waste of time. But he said a lot of things in these live streams that I feel are worth talking about.
Oh yeah, you're pro-doxing. Jumping into my comments, defending Ethan Klein.
Wow, I didn't realize that pointing out the objective fact that something doesn't qualify as doxing meant you were pro-doxing. Oh, and also you say that I jumped in to defend Ethan Klein. No, I don't particularly like Ethan Klein. I think the way he treated Jordan Peterson was childish. I will point out how you are spreading misinformation. So, the attempt to try and paint me as some Ethan Klein fanboy is childish as fuck.
I'm sorry, you're the first person that I've interacted with who's like actively, you know, supporting doxing, so excuse me if I confuse you with the 99% other people who are just pro-genocide, so...
Again, I think it's weird to conflate genocide with, like, doxing. But, like, I don't know, those are 2 very different things. I'm not pro either of them, but a weird analogy there, buddy.
Great! You got that from someone who doxed him. The name was never released to the public. He's never released it himself. So, congrats.
This is a fucking lie. First off, Wikitubia has a policy where they do not allow the name of somebody unless it's already been made public. So you're fucking lying, dude.
Let the adults talk, because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Let the adults talk, motherfucker? You sit in your fucking mom's basement doing shitty live streams that nobody fucking watches. Who the fuck are you to call an adult? Exactly, jackass. I, meanwhile, have a full-time job who does YouTube as a fucking hobby on the side with a college degree. So I don't know who you're trying to claim to be quote-unquote more mature, but that doesn't exactly work here, jackass.
It's not doxing, it's public information.
Yeah, saying a true statement in a funny voice doesn't dispute it, by the way, dude.
And saying there's nothing you can do about it as a justification is, like, so egregious and gross.
Shut the fuck up, dude. I am not using that as an excuse. I'm just stating an objective fact. The truth is, this is something I thought people learned about the internet. What you put on the internet stays for you for the rest of your life. That's just an unfortunate fact. It's a shame that Bad Empanada put his name out there, but it's out there and it's public information. It's now on the public record, especially post the Ethan stream. The truth is, his name is public. If you think that that's doxing at this point, you're just fucking stupid. Yanis is a scumbag who deserves everything he fucking gets. The way he's treated numerous YouTubers in the past, I'm sorry. He was not fucking doxed. And if anyone wanted to use his real name in a video, they wouldn't be doxing either. Because
It was. Yes, it was. He had to get the information from someone in the Argentinian government with loose morals in order to release that information to Ethan. That is how Ethan got it.
he must have gotten it from the Argentine government. No! You are a lying fucking rat. All Ethan would have to do to get to Bad Empanada's name would be to do a quick fucking Google search to his Wikitubia page. Because, again, it was already public. Ethan never fucking doxed this guy.
But he's participating in a dox. Do you understand? That doxing someone is not an official release of their information.
That's fucking stupid. Like, first off, participating in a dox, that means that you actively doxed someone. If someone comes around later, several months or years, and talks about it and mentions the person's name, that wouldn't be doxing. Like, what a fucking stupid position. By that logic, you should never make a video about Martin Luther King Jr. because at some point his real name was private. That is stupid as fuck. That is just stupid. You're trying desperately to paint Ethan as this doxer when it just doesn't make any sense.
Bad Empanada, all he's doing is just showing what Ethan has been saying himself.
This is such a fucking lie. That is not what Bad Empanada does, okay? First off, if all he was doing was re-uploading clips of what Ethan was saying, then shouldn't his channel be deleted because he's just stealing other people's content? No, he makes pretty bold claims. Like when he claimed that Ethan's kids were rolling around in dog shit, shoving shit into their mouths. That is not just him showing a clip of Ethan Klein. That is a claim that he is making with his own mouth. What a deranged take.
Exploitative, it is doxing. You have now admitted that it was doxing. Also, is
no, I never fucking admitted it was doxing. What I said in that live stream chat was that it's exploitative because I don't like live streaming. I don't like making live streaming. I think that live streaming as a form of YouTube creation is just exploitative. I think it's lazy. It's lazy videos. I'm sorry. It's lazy content compared to edited videos. I'm sorry. He's trying to make it seem like I agree that it was doxing. No, you're an idiot.
What Bad Empanada does is completely justified. Ethan is a whiny little bitch, just like you.
See, this is what I mean, right? Anything Bad Empanada does is automatically justified because it's Bad Empanada. Bad Empanada is love. Bad Empanada is life. Bad Empanada is God. Everything he does is justified, but anything Ethan does is automatically wrong. Like, you're in a fucking cult, dude. A whiny bitch? They called CPS on him, you fucking retard! I'm sorry. But if someone calls CPS on you, sends human skulls, I think you're allowed to quote-unquote whine about it. You're allowed to complain about it. You're allowed to criticize the people who led that to happen. Fuck Bad Empanada. God damn, man.
Cannot accept the fact that they're wrong.
This is so funny because Ethan Klein has admitted multiple fucking times that he is wrong. He has said that he has misspoken. He said that he's said things that he regrets. He has apologized multiple times. You know who's never admitted they were wrong? Bad Empanada. Bad Empanada and Hassan have never admitted where they're wrong. For example, he claimed that Giardia was an unknown disease that no one knew about, even though it was discovered back in the 1800s. Like, isn't that a lie? Don't you think Bad Empanada should probably clarify the record on that? Yeah, that's it. That's really all I have to say on this fucking loser. This fucking skinhead, meth-smoking, such a liar. And I just figured I would address this now before someone cites this, videos in a larger expose. No, I do not support doxing. What Ethan did was not fucking doxing. You're an idiot who's like a Bad and Banana fanboy. As an aside, I just want to say one last thing. In this video, he claims that, he doesn't have to give money to Palestine because he has a Palestinian flag in the background and is bringing awareness. Dude, your average videos get like under 100 views. You're not fucking bringing awareness to Palestine. That's one of the most well-documented wars in human history. You're not bringing awareness, dude. You're just fucking virtue signaling by having that flag in the fucking background. You are not bringing awareness. You're just an asshole. So is Bad Empanada, by the way. Sorry for making that a little longer than I originally planned. I really don't like that person, and I really think he makes the Palestinian cause look fucking awful. But regardless, any statement on the current paleosphere, it's okay. I still think it's good. I think that there's a lot of really good artists that are coming. Sadly, I have seen an increasing toxicity and clique-inness in the community, as well as the nature community. For example, I already talked about Paleostream and how they wrongfully disqualified a few people. They've also started like attacking anyone who criticizes them in any way. There's been like, really BS criticism levied at the likes of Forrest Galante or Red Raptor Riot. So there's some people. I intend to make videos on all those subjects at some point, though not right now, as I kind of am working on another project and I don't really want to make another controversial video for some time. Yeah. They also just act like any criticism of they get from people like KeterTube and such are just invalid for whatever reason. I don't know, it's just fucking childish. Like, buddy, I don't know if you know this, but focusing exclusively on theropods kind of doesn't represent all of the Earth's history. I think that's a valid criticism, and you can complain about the cringy memes and AI stuff he puts into his videos, which I personally don't like that much, but he does raise a few solid points, and to dismiss that by calling him a racist bigot for no reason doesn't really work. It's just childish. And he's only insulating your community further into more of an echo chamber. I honestly feel bad because Joshua is a really talented artist. He just surrounds himself with some of the most vile human beings on the planet. But, that's a subject for another day. King of a Thing asks 3 questions. Q1, opinion on Kirby and the Forgotten Land and the DLC we're getting this year. Q2, opinion on people constantly claiming Trump is a fascist. Q3, opinion on the taxonomy of Tullimonstrum. As for your first question on Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I played that game to 100% completion and I really liked it. I'm looking forward to the DLC. I don't like how apparently it's only for the Switch 2. I think there should be an option to get it on the Switch 1, at least as far as I can tell. But I don't know. If I can get the DLC on the original Switch, maybe I'll review it. If I can only get it on Switch 2, I might skip on it. It's funny because they stopped selling the DLC of Breath of the Wild on Wii U, which is a darn shame, as I really wanted to get that. But I don't know. Maybe if someone can figure out a way for it to work on the original Switch, I'll get it, but I'm not really much of a modder, so I can't really say anything about that. I wish the Switch wasn't as expensive, the second one anyway. Yeah. As for why people call Trump a fascist, I don't like Trump. I think he's kind of a loser, but the reason they do that is because these people are politically illiterate, so they think anyone right of center is a fascist. That's really it. He's just a populist. That's really all there is to say about that guy. Yeah. Tullimonstrum. A enigma wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in a question. That thing is quite an interesting creature and has a very unique anatomy that's made answering the question of what exactly it is very difficult, but we can narrow it down a little bit. So, it used to be thought it could be anything, but we've ruled out it being a crown group of vertebrate. We've also ruled out it being an arthropod or a mollusk. What that leaves us is either it's some sort of weird worm, or, and in my opinion a little more likely, it is a stem chordate, which is a group that includes vertebrates but also includes lancelets and tunicates. So it's probably one of those. If I had to bet money on it, though, I wouldn't bet money because it's constantly changing and we don't know what it is. Parody of Ghost Ninja Yokai asks, what if Ninjago's Ghost Ninja Yokai successfully saved Snowflame from Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn in the Harley Quinn animated series? I have no idea. I've never watched a Harley Quinn animated series. I don't know if saving that person would negatively impact the show or why Ghost Ninja Yokai, who's generally an evil person, uh, would save them. I don't know. That's a weird question. So, what if Deadpool and Ninjago's Ghost Ninja Yokai somehow have a son named Snowdon Willie Wilson? I don't know. I don't think ghosts can have biological children, so that probably wouldn't be possible outside of magic. I don't know. He seems kind of like a bad person, so I imagine that Ghost Ninja Yokai would probably be a deadbeat father. And Deadpool's insane, so I hope that answers that question as best as I could. Vomit Squad asks, what if Ninjago's Ghost Ninja Yokai successfully saved Invincible's Jack Duval and Invincible's Becky Duval from Powerplex's electricity, but Becky Duval loses her memories? As I've never read or watched Invincible, I can't really answer this question. I imagine losing your memory would probably be a little traumatic, but that's all I can say about it. And I don't think Yokai would save people. Bosk fan asks, hey, the Dark Master, wondering your thoughts on the new Star Wars show Andor, or any of the new Star Wars shows for that matter. Congrats. I've never watched Andor. I heard it's good. Maybe I'll try it, but I'll be honest, I've not really been that impressed with a lot of the new Star Wars shows. Frankly, most of the new Star Wars stuff has been pretty mediocre. I did think the first two seasons of The Mandalorian were good. I thought The Bad Batch was great, as were the animated shows. I think they're generally okay. I like them. But the live action shows have just been mediocre. House of Boba Fett, I don't know, it's just boring. And plus, why did they not have him in his armor for a long time? That was just kind of lame. He didn't really act like Boba Fett. He acted more like a Mandalorian, ironically enough. And the less I say about Ahsoka, the better. Kippy2293 asks, how would Ghost Ninja Yokai do as a member of the Sacramento Kings? So I had to look this up because I have no idea what the Sacramento Kings are. They're like a basketball team in Sacramento, California. I don't know if Ghost Ninja Yokai would play basketball. I mean, he can fly, so that seems like it would be kind of cheating. Like, he can just fly above all the opponents and dunk a basketball. Plus, he's kind of can't really be touched if he chooses not to be, so I don't know. I don't think they would allow him to partake in that. Bob Jackson 2031 asks, congrats the Dark Master, the Dark Master. If the Ghost Ninja Yokai came into office as President of the United States, what bills would he pass? Who would be his vice president? Would you vote for him? In order to be the President of the United States, you have to be a citizen of the U.S. Ghost Ninja Yokai is a citizen of Ninjago, so no, I don't think he could become a president. If he did, ask for what bills would he pass? I don't know, man. Maybe he would pass the right to vote for dead people. I know they already use that in certain regions, especially when they don't want people to win. But who would be his vice president? I don't know. The preeminent, maybe Banja, because, get like some female representation. Would you vote for him? Depends on who he's running against, honestly. Red Lantern Scalox asks, what if Ninjago's Ghost Ninja Yokai somehow gained powers of Marvel Cinematic Universe's Alioth? If he got those powers, he would be very powerful. That's really all I can say about that. The Penny Plunderer DC asks, who would win the fight, Ghost Ninja Yokai versus Moon Knight? It honestly just depends on if Moon Knight can figure out a way to hurt a ghost who can be hurt by like deep stone and water. So my money is on Moon Knight, but I don't know. Why does Ghost Ninja Yokai get so many questions related to him? It's bizarre. Phantom Jakku Q1, what got you into Kirby? Mainly since I've seen a lot of Kirby content from you as of late. Q2, do you have any rare pieces of gaming media? If not, what would be something you really want to own? I've always liked Kirby. I've been a big Kirby fan ever since I got my first Kirby game. I just decided to make a lot of Kirby videos because Well, at first I started with the anime review, and then I started with the game reviews because I wanted to finish those before I finished the Kirby anime series. So I started a little later than maybe I should have, but I still should be able to finish those video game reviews before I review the last of the Kirby anime episodes. And I kind of want to just do both of those now because I really enjoy making Kirby stuff, and then I can do some more nature documentary and Lego stuff. So, yeah, that's sort of what got me into doing it more. I just never really talked about it. As for whether I have any rare pieces of gaming media, nah, no, I don't really own anything that's super rare. I mean, I would love to own a boxed copy of Evo: The Search for Eden, but that is very expensive, and I just can't afford that at the moment. Lane Lolcow asks three questions. 1. Favorite animal of the Paleocene. 2. Most underrated and overrated Kirby games. 3. Best social media platform. My favorite animal of that time has to be Carbonemes, a turtle that had a shell length of 5 feet 11 inches, which makes it one of the largest turtles to ever exist. In my opinion, the most underrated Kirby game would have to be. I think it would be Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, only because people think it's the worst, and I don't think it's that bad. As for most overrated Kirby game, I'm gonna say it. I think the original Kirby Superstar is not as perfect as some people make it out. Oh, I do think it's great, and I think the remake is even better, but it's not my personal favorite. Lastly, as for the best social media platform, the last question of this video. Listen, all social media is garbage, but I think YouTube is probably the least bad, but that's not really saying much. It's the only social platform that I use, so take for that what you will. But yeah, anyway, I'm the Dark Master, and hopefully these, answers are entertaining or at least engaging to you people in some way. No doubt that one of the people that I mentioned will probably respond to this video. You're welcome for the views. Yeah. Anyway, next time, hopefully, we'll have a much more better video than this on a certain Lego YouTuber I've mentioned offhandedly multiple times. So, yeah. Well, take care and have a wonderful day, everyone.